Originally named My Man O' War by Belmont's wife, the auctioneer dropped the My and sold Man O' War to Sam Riddle of Pennsylvania. Riddle intended to race Man O' War, but first he had to break this extraordinary beast.
When they were breaking Man O' War, the horse hated it. He screamed with rage, absolutely did not want to be broken. It was several days before they could get near the horse. And finally, he, being a very brainy horse, according to Riddle, gave in because he knew he wasn't going to win. But Riddle also said that every time that horse ever started a race after that, he could tell by the way the horse acted that he remembered his breaking and he never forgave them.
2-year-old Man O' War began his racing career in the spring of 1919. He made his debut at Long Island's Belmont Park, which had opened in 1905. At the starting line, the Red Giant exuded a fiery calm. And when the race began, he ran with thundering precision, making the longest strides track regulars had ever seen. The performance had the crowd checking their race forms. It was the first time they'd seen the name Man O' War, but it wouldn't be the last. He may have been difficult to break, but Man O' War was even harder to beat. After his first 6 races, he remained undefeated.
He was so incredibly dominant. It wasn't that he just won races, but he won with a tremendous dominance over other horses.
Man O' War opened fire, so to speak, during his 2-year-old season. At 2 years old, won 6 straight, was clearly an incredible horse, a horse for the future. They could tell already.
Man O' War was the talk of the track, especially at Saratoga. It was at this venerable course that Man O' War would face his greatest challenge. It was like going to see Babe Ruth play in Yankee Stadium. In 1919, no ticket was hotter than the one that got you in to see the thoroughbred sensation Man O' War make a run at Saratoga, the nation's premier track. He'd come to run in Saratoga's Sanford Memorial Stakes, and 30,000 spectators were there to watch him perform. Today, the starting gate is a well-established fixture. But at the start of the 20th century, most tracks, including Saratoga, didn't have fixed gates. Instead, horses were lined up behind a tape that was raised to start the race.
When they released the tape, Man O' War was facing backwards. So the horses took off, and Man O' War started 4 lengths behind. Had absolutely no chance, apparently. But then he took off. This amazing horse knocked off one horse after another, 1, 2, 3, 4 horses as he went around the back stretch, then coming down the home stretch. 100 feet out, he was just 3/4 of a length behind Harry Payne Whitney's front runner. And when they got to the finish line, you just couldn't tell who won.
In the end, Man O' War lost by a nose. Ironically, the winning thoroughbred was named Upset. But Man O' War's narrow loss to Upset did little to break his stride. In race after race, Man O' War chewed through the competition. He won the 1920 Belmont Stakes by 20 lengths. In another race, he won by an incredible 100 lengths. He beat older horses, younger horses, and previous champs. No matter the competition or condition of the track, he always came out ahead.
He had only 1 defeat out of 21 starts. He set a series of American and world records, some of which lasted for many, many years.
The growing popularity of radio carried Man O' War's incredible success across the nation. People from every walk of life thrilled at the exploits of this thoroughbred champion. Man O' War became a national sports hero.
It was the golden age of American sports, and these were the years of Jack Dempsey and Ty Cobb in baseball and Knute Rockne and football, really a marvelous period in American sports, and now they had an equine hero as well.
In 1921, Sam Riddle retired Man O' War and turned his champion out to stud. He was out to pasture, but still in the public eye. On a farm near Lexington, Kentucky, Man O' War sired 64 race champions.
Man O' War was really bigger than a racehorse. He really was a national hero. People literally went down to Kentucky, where Man O' War was retired, to see Man O' War. Thousands of people, year after year, would come down and visit this sort of living legend. And Man O' War's groom, who took care of him at the time, became a celebrity himself, Will Harbin. His description of Man O' War as Demosthenes' horse became part of the lexicon.
When Man O' War died at age 30, his passing met with fanfare normally reserved for heads of state.
He was such a public hero that his funeral was broadcast on radio. They had a casket that was lined with the colors of Mr. Riddle's silks, and 8 or 10 dignitaries spoke, talking about not only his importance as a racehorse to the racing community, but his influence as a tourist attraction to the city of Lexington.